too. Alright, so welcome everybody to this masterclass on how to carry as Ultron, and actually we're gonna also cover how to play versus him a little bit. Today I'm just gonna do a quick overview on what he can do as Ultron, and I'm gonna take a look at one of the top players already playing that character and show you exactly what are they doing and why. I'll explain the concepts, and most likely we'll also have time to do additional what reviews. I believe you guys had the opportunity to do what reviews with Nomi before, but we might have the same opportunity as well. If we have enough time, I will just speak random replays and exactly talk about what you guys can improve on based on what we talked about today. It's going to be more practical masterclass, like the ones I've been doing about the supports, strategy as vanguards, and duelist, basically. So yeah, let's get started. So what do you guys think? Did you have a chance to play Ultron actually? How that went for you?
I actually haven't had a chance to play him. Like everybody else just plays him, so I don't even know
This,
honestly how good the character is.
yeah, honestly, to me, I legit primarily play DPS. So honestly, a lot of the time, if someone else is able to play him, then great. Otherwise, I typically either play Star Lord or Punisher.
Pretty
Right.
nice. I have about a 76% win rate with him in ranked. I actually hit Celestial only using him.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty impressive. Wait, again, 60% win rate currently.
Yeah, around there. It was 86, and then I lost like 3, maybe 4 more games after that, but I won several games after that, so a fair 76.
Nice, that's great. That's great. Okay, well, it's gonna be great to also hear some of your insight as well. If you got a lot of the playtime, we can comment on some of the stuff too. I think that's great. Everyone here is to just learn all the ideas. I'm gonna just share more general concepts. You guys can apply all the concepts I'm teaching. You can use those on any character, basically. It should be alright at any point of time. Also, sorry, I cannot see your full name. Give me a second. Bald Martin, sorry. Can you also mute the background noise if you're speaking? Or yeah, you can unmute later. It's fine. If there are any questions, obviously, you can. All of you guys can also open the chat message to the questions there later on too, and I would definitely find if you want to unmute, ask the questions. That's okay. All right. Let me see. So let's just start with a quick overview, and what I wanna cover are the sweet topics. Again, as mentioned, just mostly all the concepts I'm teaching are fundamentals, and you can apply those to any of the supports, any of the DPS or Vanguard, it doesn't matter. So basically we start with first thing on the support. You need to understand how do you enable and disable, and this support, well, this strategist is specifically really good at disabling. So what that means is we have a lot of emphasis on just applying the pressure to the enemy. We're just trying to do a lot of the damage, so you make things happen, you make them hide somewhere, and later on your team can capitalize on that opportunities. And you have a lot of the defensive utility. Okay, if we're just talking about your right click, maybe. Oh, also, sorry, Bold Martin. It seems there's a little background noise still.
Oh shit, my bad.
I just can hear myself, it seems, just a little bit when I'm talking. That's fine though. Alright, so the abilities, I usually really would like to treat those as your opportunity to be more aggressive. If I have that right click, I can be more aggressive. For example, I take an angle somewhere here and I can press it, so it gives me shield. Obviously it can also give the shield to ally, but a lot of those abilities, your right click the shield and your shift, is allowing you to stay aggressive or capitalize on the certain opportunities your team gives. So maybe there's an enemy who's really low, you can also try to finish them real quick. So mostly treating your abilities exact this way. maybe if some of you guys been able to play, you could also just see that this character has a lot of mobility. Yeah, just kind of similar to Torch or maybe Storm. Yeah, you can fly up in the air. So a lot of it, your positioning is going to be related to that. That's something I'm going to talk about later. Now, your drone. Yeah, your drone, I would think about it pretty simple, to be honest. Yes, as you can see, if I place it near somewhere like this here, it's healing this here. They get amplified healing, but they're also healing the rest, just someone around the drone. But the thing I would like to think about is not just place it in the space where you have most of your team clubbed up, like a lot of people probably would do. Yeah, you just kind of where a lot of cheap damage happening, or maybe there's just kind of the big group of people. Yes, this is good. You can look at this as well, but I really would like you guys to think about who is the most active at the moment and make sure your drone is kind of around that angle, around that group. So for example here, if this group is actively attacking, then I want the drone to be around that group. Or maybe if someone is going to be on the right side, let's say they're going to be even more aggressive, you can place the drone on them. So there's a constant switching between who is the most active depending on the situation. That is something what I will talk about a lot. Okay, so this is just quick overview about the abilities. Now your positioning is mostly taking angles away from the core. What I mean is, for example, my core is here, and the most of the team's position somewhere in the main. I usually don't like to play near the core. Why? Because I want to distract an enemy so they look at me while I'm dealing a lot of damage. There's big emphasis on how much damage you can do. Yeah, and for that you need great line of sight. You need to take that vertical off angle somewhere. It's typically going to be somewhat of a 45 or 90 angle. So for example here, you see that if my team is attacking A and there's enemy at B here, then I can have this kind of 90 angle over here and potentially just attack the enemy while also supporting my allies. Yeah, obviously you want to also see what is going on with your team too. I think there's sometimes gonna be opportunities for you to flank too, especially if you have your ultimate. You have a lot of burst capabilities with your ultimate, so that is something you can think about as well. Yeah, you just kind of get somewhere more flanky option and try to do more damage towards an enemy. You'll usually notice with the characters, whenever you have a lot of burst opportunity and you have some decent mobility, you can be taking those deeper angles depending on situation. So you don't have to just exactly stuck behind your team. Yes, you also heal your allies too. That is something to keep in mind. But generally speaking, think it should be less of a priority. You definitely should be thinking about how to deal pressure first. Okay, maybe any questions about his abilities just overall? Obviously, I maybe cannot dive in too much into the micros too much. We'll look at those later. But yeah, do you guys have any questions about what I mentioned so far?
Yo, I have a question.
Oh yeah, of course.
So, wait, this is a bit off topic, but what rank are you?
Currently it's unranked. I think I've been able to reach, what was that, around Celestial 2, Celestial 1, I think.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Just
Well, I'm not playing that much. I'm basically coaching 2 games currently. It's Overwatch and it's Marvel Rivals for 7 years. So yeah, I'm just here to help you out, guys. I'm not specifically like high ranked or anything, but I'm mostly teaching the concepts. You can also maybe watch the materials in Class and Drills. Maybe there are also materials in my YouTube channels. Just check those out. But yeah, I'm just kind of providing guidance for any players, and this is how it is. But yeah, any other questions?
I have a question. So in regard, like, okay, so for positioning as Ultron, you said you want to take angles away from the core
Yes.
to draw attention away from the team and provide crossfire and things like that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So in regards to the objective, so like for a convoy, would you be 90 degrees away, like from the objective?
Of course.
Because
100%, you always do, because map control is more important. We want to make sure we win the fight first, and later on, the point can be captured, right? If you think about those kind of bullet points, okay, what gives us an advantage? It can be pressure, it can be enabling your teammates, it can be disabling an enemy, right? That also just, how do I maybe even get information, right? And you win the fight based on those variables, and then you can capture the point. You can move the objective more, right? It's if you just go on the point, if you all sit on the point, right, you're not getting any position advantage. If you ask me, what wins you the fight more, position advantage or you being on point? Well, definitely position advantage. So we want to start with that. Typically, of course, there are some exceptions too. It's just always kind of the apply rule, but this is really important on any character with the high mobility, a lot of burst. You need typically to take those angles, right? Yeah, that does it make sense, or any other?
Yeah,
additional
that
questions?
makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I think it's gonna be really good if we use some of the gameplay examples, so we can kind of just go solve the concepts and maybe dive in more in details about those, and then you guys can actually post your codes in Academy classes here in the chat. I will be glad to review those, and we can just take a look at those as well. I think
Yo,
if you have any Ultron gameplay, I think that's gonna be great.
Can I ask one more question, please?
Oh yeah, of course.
I'm an Eternity Hulk player. Do you have any tips? I'm kind of struggling. I'm trying to get to one above all, but I can't just get there.
Well, it
Or are you
just
only sport player?
yeah, it really depends on, because there might be dozens of things. What you can be struggling with might be maybe, well, if we're just talking about the topics, it can be positioning, decisions, timing. It can be understanding of tempo, mechanics, right? To just make the proper assessment. Yeah, imagine you call in a doctor, like, doctor, I'm not feeling great. Yeah, like what the
Yeah,
doctor
I know,
needs to do. They need to kind of just diagnose the situation, right?
Alright.
So I would definitely start with that. Yeah, maybe start with the water view, maybe post one of your water views in this channel here. Well, it just can be somewhere, well, depending on your rank, obviously, but post it in water view here. Those two great channels. I think the big brothers and junior coaches, they're helping out people there. And you can also, maybe if you have some gameplay even for today, then just on Ultron, you can place it here in the chat. I'll be glad to help.
Is it only Ultron?
It's an Ultron.
Is it only Ultron?
For today, yes. For today, yes.
Oh shit! Alright.
That's all right.
Thank you.
It's just the topic is how to care in Ultron. I think this character is just got released, so I think that's how we're gonna go about
Yo,
it for now.
people in my rank say he's kind of shit. Is that
Yeah,
right
this
or
is true.
wrong?
He's not the greatest, to be honest, I would say. They definitely, and even initially we saw that the developers, once they did the testing with the streamers, they asked to buff Ultron, I believe. But then I think maybe they will make some readjustments like they did to Torch. So that's alright. But ideally,
thank
we can always think about how we can care in the character, not dependent on the rank. To be honest, there are so many examples, and I can 100% say the worst characters in the hero shooters and games like Overwatch and just this modern rival is still the same thing. You playing even the worst character, you're able to reach really high rank. Still, top of 100 is still possible. Yeah, top of 100, 100% possible. So yeah, it's just most of it is about the performance. Really, I'm gonna be honest. I also been in that boat too. I've been playing not the best character at all in Overwatch and still been able to reach top 10. But yeah, it's just really a lot about how you play. What do you do, to be honest? That's okay. All right, let's just start with looking at some of the gameplay. I think that's been a quick overview. Of course, again, two questions mostly. Just how do we enable something? How do we disable the pressure of the enemy team? Most emphasis should be first disabling. Yeah, I want to make sure I'm trying to do some pressure first, and only later I'll pay attention to anybody who is the most active on my team as well. That's our overflow. It's so overflow overall, and then we'll dive in details a little bit more. I'm just gonna use some of the replays. You guys probably know when I've been doing strategist masterclass, it's been I think months ago. I've been doing a review of Saipe, and I just want you to look at this guy right there. They're top 6 currently in the rank. Just really one above all. 5,373 SR, which is pretty impressive, and I think they're pretty decent playing support. And I just want to show how they are utilizing all those ideas, concepts as well. And yeah, I'll do what reviews after with you as well. Sape, I think we did what review with him when they've been playing Inviswoman. I think we also talked about some of the Loki as well. There was a class. Actually, our previous masterclass, we did talk about that. So let's just use the sweep play here, I think, real quick. It doesn't matter what the game...
You get paid... Sorry, you can go.
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to say it doesn't matter what kind of game we need. The concepts will be the same overall across all the ranks. The advice will be pretty universal. Yeah, sorry, any question?
Yeah, I was gonna say this is really off topic, but do you get paid to do this?
You mean coaching? Yeah, of course. I'm helping players, and depending just on the depending on my availability, I also help for free as well. But yeah, anyway, if you want to know more about the coaching, always DM me. That's all good.
Cool.
All right, you guys have any questions so far before we start looking at the replay?
I had one question. I know since it's early, a lot of people are kind of insta-locking him, and you know, you never really get the comp that you need. So like maybe we'll have 2 supports with Ultron, or we'll have 1 tank or something like that. Typically, we got to make it work when we can, but I feel like he's great, just not the sustain. Like he's just not gonna burst heal anyone. But the games I've had with him, I feel like I'm actually averaging like a 15 KD with him or something like that, because he's just so, I feel like, suppressive if you hit all your shots.
Yeah.
But my question would be, I mean, if let's say you're the MVP as Ultron, and really the issue, I wouldn't say, I mean, it can be healing, you know, if your DPS don't get healed enough to secure their elims, then, you know, maybe it's Ultron's fault. But if you're kind of going crazy, you're MVP doing your thing, healing everybody, I'm only getting out healed by a rocket by like 2,000 heals maybe per game. So would you recommend to switch off regardless, or just kind of keep rocking with it?
So you saying switch off based on the healing number, right? That's what I'm getting. Yeah, like you look at that second
because
support.
It's not working, you know? Yeah.
Well, the thing is, why it's not working, right? Because there might be different things which we can think about when talking about the strategies, but that's why they call it strategies. There's a big emphasis on how do we apply pressure on the enemy team. Why? Because if you do that, then we can force out the abilities, and that's exactly what we can talk about later. We'll see their positioning, we'll see how they also going to be using their abilities too, and a lot of it is really because you do the pressure towards an enemy, then enemies are just going to be using cooldowns, they're going to be using resources, maybe their ultimates, and this gives space.
And they'll start targeting more and looking up at the sky more.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Attention is a resource as well. Yeah, that's what we're talking about exactly. And I think if you realize that you're doing your job ultimately, it's just trying to, well, first off, if it's pretty basic, understand how much difference you get with the cooldowns. For example, if I use my shield, yeah, like their defensibility, right click here, and potentially you did bait out 2 cooldowns, I think this is great. Yeah, especially if you have those cooldowns on the higher, it's just longer cooldowns. I think you can definitely think about it as a win. Yeah, maybe you can also just force out a lot of space. You can just win that certain checkpoint. You can just make sure the point is keep moving because of the pressure. That's a lot about that. I would definitely see that first. Just perspective, are you doing your job? And then only later saying, am I actually providing enough healing numbers? Because a lot of people, they misunderstand, and I think especially in this game, Marvel Rivals, I get that because there's so much more sustain. But
Yo, I just hit a clip on Hulk, by the way. I just got 4 people. Fucking hell, sorry, my bad.
So all right, so we basically just want to put more emphasis on applying pressure, and then the second is always going to be supporting your teammates, anybody who's the most active. If you guys had any experiences or watch, there's a character, it's Zenyatta, basically. You can put a lot of pressure. Yeah, exactly. This character,
I hate Zen, he's so annoying.
This
it has Moira, the Iron Man team up is like Moira's ult too. It's kind of obviously not as strong, but it's pretty cracked.
Yeah, exactly. And
his shot, does his shot not have fall off damage? I'm sorry, this is another question.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I just wanted to say that it's exactly because you can apply a lot of pressure from Zenyatta, and you can Discord Orb something. You can always put the damage towards the enemy. This way, you can carry games a lot of times, right? It's not that healing orb what is carrying, which is the part actually, but the most of it is gonna be the pressure. Exactly. Yeah. Question. You wanted to ask something? Crutches. Sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to confirm if does his shot actually not have fall off? Because like you said,
There is a
applying
fall
pressure,
off to
securing
70.
elims, like
Yeah, there is. Sorry to interrupt. Yeah, I just want to quickly say, yeah, yes, there's a fall off, but it's not that significant. It's just fall off to 75% whenever we further than 20 meters away. And I can actually also read it. I think there's a website, by the way, really great. You can always use that for any info. It should be right there. I can show you the link. It's this one. You can also read just fall off begins 20, but it's only 275 degrees. So you gotta keep that in mind. There's, to be honest, not that significant, and you still will be able to play at long distances. But preferably, if you can get closer, I think that's okay for just the biggest damage output. Yeah, is there
like
anything else?
display your off angles and stuff. Yeah, okay. No, great explanation. Thank you very much.
Yeah, of course. I also see the questions in the chat. Sorry, guys. I just opened the questions in the chat. Twixy, can I put a game I won in? You talk about what was done right. Yes, of course. I can do that as well. Just place your game on Ultron. Should be okay. His mouse one does have drop off, but it's next to none. Yeah, exactly. It's just 275. He always sweet ups 200. Yes. All those micros, to be honest, you guys probably already watched a bunch of shorts, maybe the other videos as well. I'm gonna talk more about the general stuff. So, just watch. We'll start with the abilities, what they're gonna be doing with those, and later on we'll move to positioning, and after that we'll move to timing. It's just why it's important as well. Let's see what they're going to be doing with their abilities, first of all. Like we mentioned, trying to just make sure we support the most active member. So your drone is going to be placed somewhere, well, because there's not much going on right away, let's just place it somewhere near one of my teammates here. I want you to look at who they actually chose to drone right now, right? So there is a person, and they're playing with the teammate, by the way. There's a Fire right now. They're playing the Flyer, right? But because you know exactly, maybe you can also talk to, maybe you have a duo queue partner, or maybe you just guys playing in a competitive match. You can also talk about who is going to be taking really aggressive angle, to be honest. So you can place the drone exactly there. You don't have to always place it on a stationary member, but you expect the most of your team to be. And you can always see that to be the case, to be honest. When they're going to be using the drone, they're just trying to really position on someone who is really doing the most, and their shield is enabling their aggression a lot of times. Yes, they can also shield their team, especially maybe the Flyer, like that Storm here, but overall, it's just let's try to take a aggressive position and make sure we use that later. They kind of died at the start, but it's fine. It's just trying to get through right there, getting the first fight is a little bit spawn camped, but I think it's fine on this map. By the way, this is a new map as well, great to talk about. Now we're moving, and you see they take it an angle and just applying pressure, big emphasis on just making sure we're constantly shooting, apply pressure, and there's always trying to sneak in the damage on their backline if possible, to be honest. You'll see them taking a lot of verticality, but once they're just not able to focus any of the backline members, they will try to shoot the tank a little bit more, I think. But ideally, you want to try to get around their tank. And see, again, it's the drone is on the most active person at all time. You can sometimes even think about just kind of leave the drone and let the person be aggressive, because there definitely will be times when you need to switch your drone. But I also want you to think about when the fight actually starts, who is gonna be most likely be aggressive in your team, and place the drone there. So you allow them to be more aggressive. They actually see the presence of the drone, and you're telling them, okay, yeah, like I can actually do something. It's similar to Zenyatta. You see that right there? This Spider-Man, they're more aggressive compared to this here. Yeah? Why? Because they're getting really short-range combat. It's just allowing them to be aggressive here and do more damage. Yeah, they can be like, oh, okay, I can do something there. And your right click is gonna be mostly enabling you. Well, again, can enable your teammate too, but mostly just try to help out myself. Okay, help out that spider, right? They still really aggressive. We're gonna be just trying to constantly put the emphasis on them. Let me read the questions. I'm huge fan of his kit, man, as a support main, but best DPS in my friend group, he's a perfect medium. Yeah, I think he's decent. He definitely needs some tweaks. I think especially at the higher ranks, you'll definitely not see people playing him right away because, well, first off, you need more experience playing him. You just need to practice all of the stuff, but I think he has great potential. I really love those kind of supports. If you're able to apply pressure on the enemy and force things to happen, that is the best kind to carry. You will always see that on any strategies if you're able to just make things happen through the damage or diverting attention or making sure they focus you but you don't die. By the way, Jeff, that's why for that reason a lot of times can be oppressive, but now they're patch notes, so it's different. I think they shouldn't they should allow him be trying to divert the attention and try to stay alive, to be honest, but it's fine. I really like those kind of supports where you able to apply a lot of pressure. Let me see, maybe that another second or two, it's very quick, I feel. Yeah, the buffs. Yeah, I definitely think.
Yeah, that's just speculation. Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, it's okay. To be honest, I think you definitely might need some sort of buff. Okay, let's watch the ultimate because this is where we'll start just looking at this side of what they're gonna be doing with that. You will see a lot of times when we use the ultimate, we can be more aggressive, as I mentioned. You'll try to get somewhere behind. You typically trying to burst the backline members. That's why it's so important. You see how far away they're playing from the rest of their team. You don't want to put the emphasis on healing. You want to put the emphasis on damage, and only later you're trying to heal someone, to be honest. You're just trying to, well, find the easiest target. Try to get close, well, not as close, but kind of 20, 30 meters should be okay. You see, they're being patient. They're not shooting right away. And then they start the ultimate, burst this guy real quick, right there. And the fire also following up on the pressure too, obviously. But this is great. You just apply the damage, go on the angle. It can be typically more flanky one, so further away than 90, kind of 180 angle. If we, again, what the 180 angle is, if my team is over here, then I can attack all the way from here, for example. You just kind of create this 180 angle opportunity, so the enemy makes this full 180 turn. By the way, I need my drawing tool real quick. It should be around here in a second. Okay, here we go. Right. Any questions about those things so far? About about the abilities? You guys have any? Okay, I see some. You guys can also unmute and ask the questions. I'll be glad to answer. But so far, maybe, especially if you guys been attending those classes, I definitely think all the principles are really fundamental. Those are gonna be always be similar. On any support I'm teaching, on any sort of DPS I'm teaching, just make sure the more mobility you have, the deeper angle it can take. Try to just go there and enable yourself first off. Yeah, make sure you're able to do the pressure. So for example here, you see them exactly taking the duel with another Ultron, right? And his right click is allowing him to just sneak in a little bit more pressure. And if I sneak in more pressure, then I force this Ultron to back away and use his cooldowns. And then some of the healing resources will go towards that Ultron. So that means my team can do more. And see what happens as well. This Doctor Strange is suddenly going after me because the emphasis is on damage first. Yeah, I'm just trying to apply pressure first off. Okay. Yeah, let's just talk about the positioning part real quick. I think might be useful. Again, what we start with is just take a quick off angle away from your core. It's going to be verticality most of the time. Sorry, if map allows you. And after that, you can sneak in the pressure. You can just try to constantly do damage. I will see here it's going to be kind of difficult for them to take the verticality. Just get on that off angle right away because they need to break through the choke, but later on, once there's an option, they will probably try to do so. Yeah, you see them there. Yeah, they get this kind of 90 angle here and trying to apply the pressure. And after that, they can just keep moving on the angle. Make sure you just maybe able to maybe get the staggers. You can just sneak in some additional damage before the fight starts. I'll just kind of go back here. See, they actually going really deep. Yeah, a lot of people they worry, oh, like what happens about the objective? But this is what you need to do. First off, make sure you apply the pressure. You win the fight because the resource trade, you get better resource trade, and after that, you can move the point. Right? So we're just trying to constantly be thinking, how do we position and go deeper if you have that opportunity? Just take the verticality as much as possible and do it with cover. This is the most important thing, if you're able to. Usually, if we don't have any advantage, I'm just gonna move away a little bit, especially right before the fight. We don't want to be playing out in the open. We always want to think about our cover as our first shield, as our first defensive ability. So you're not using your flight, right away you're not using your right click. That's why first apply the pressure, and after that, well, because you're doing it with cover, then you're not forced to use your abilities, and that's it. But once you recognize that you have an advantage, you can actually push up. You can actually try to take space a little bit more. And you're just trying to constantly do the pressure on the rest of the enemy team. Maybe get the staggers there too. That's what we will see. Right, they're just trying to make sure the tempo is even right now. Maybe bursting the rest of the enemy team. And afterwards, they keep moving, but see, the way to do that, there's a lot of cover. We're not out in the open if we're not sure we have an advantage in that area. Right now, right there, they don't have any advantage, so we're gonna be positioned near the cover constantly, and just keep applying the pressure from behind the cover. You can also try to think about like peak shooting. I do talk a lot about that as well, sometimes when we have a lot of the burst opportunities, so you can start doing cheap damage first off, and then when there's a laser, because the way it works, you see that, and just you apply.
Hello team, I'm back.
You applied it. Sorry.
I'll mute. I spoiled mine. You remember
yeah,
me?
well, if you can mute, yeah, it would be
Yeah,
it would be fine. Thank you. Alright. Yeah. Okay. So this is gonna be most of the positioning. We'll also talk about the second map a little bit. And yeah, do you guys have any questions so far about what's been mentioned? I think we'll also have time to do some of your watts too, so I will quickly take a look. Let me see, I think 2 of those have been posted. Yeah, Crutches, and also John. Yeah, Base John, I see your replay. Is anyone else? Do you guys want to also... Oh, there's been Iron Man. Oh, Ultron, no Iron Man. Oh, okay. Twixie. Okay, I think I will choose one of those then. Let's take a look. Actually, let's do those right away, I think. If you have time, we can also look at the additional gameplay from the Cyber 2, because there's a second map, but for now, we should be good with one of those replays. Okay, let's start with this one. I will take a look. It's competitive. Perfect. Okay, will be a good one. And, sorry, is there any question? Okay. Twixie, are you here?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Do you have any notes about this game? Do you want me to focus on anything specific? What do you think you struggle with?
I don't really think I struggled on much. I more or less posted it for an example VOD, for you to point out what was good, honestly.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Yeah, I think let's take a look. So, first...
I definitely didn't position myself nowhere near as aggressive as Saipo was in that VOD we just watched, but other than that, you know.
Yeah, let's take a look. I think I didn't cover the timing too much, but most of it is going to be fundamental, so you just know when to go aggressive is mostly when you have this neutral, even fight, it's going to be 6v6, then... Generally speaking, time the pressure with anyone who can actively distract one of your tanks. Gonna be typically, well, here it's the Hulk, or maybe there's Magneto. Here they can distract a little bit, and afterwards we can be looking to peek out aggressively. I definitely want you to try to find options with those 90 angles too. You're not being too stuck, and I want to see you drawn on the most active member. So see, like right now, why is it placed on Magneto? Yeah, I think if we do some anticipation, you can also think about, maybe there's going to be Hulk who's going to be jump in, maybe, or there's going to be someone else as well who will be actively taking an angle, maybe Hawkeye a little bit, yeah, because they're going to be looking for sharper sidelines. Yeah, but this is just my take right away. But yeah, Do you want some specific feedback on just what you could have done better as well? Is it fine, or just want to point out what you want me to focus on what you did good? Sorry.
Well, I feel like my drone placement could have been better, but that and my positioning. But other than that, I feel like I did pretty good. So it's just up to you.
Yeah, okay, let's keep watching. Yeah, I'll just talk about the gameplay, whatever I see right away. So I really like the uptime for the pressure. I want you to think about the options to use the cover, though, and verticality. Okay, I really like the aggressiveness, and your drone as well later on, it seems... Where is that actually? Let me just quickly see. Okay. Yeah, so it's on Magneto now, which I think is sort of fine, but later on, the hull goes on here, right? So, might be just something we can think about switching placements. And I want your position to maybe be somewhere around here, which is even better. Yeah, just diverting the attention, constantly make them look up so I can do more pressure. We, generally speaking, want to just try to divert as much attention as possible, to be honest, too. Because emphasis on damage, right? If I'm just taking cheap damage because I'm playing the rest of my core, I don't think you should be doing that exactly, which sometimes it can be valuable, right? We can play with the rest of our core, for example, if I want a shield, yeah, and there's a lot of activity, kind of like AoE activity going on. You kind of went in there, you know, you're able to secure the kill. I think it's okay, but most of the time I want you to be somewhere on the angle. Like here, yeah, like being to the left, yeah, like while with that open, I want you to be like somewhere here. The uptime, verticality overall is kind of okay, yeah, but the cover, definitely need a little bit more emphasis on that. And see the drone right away, yeah? So like where should be, maybe somewhere over here. I think this is decent, yeah, but then also looking at this Hulk, are they going in aggressive? I think you can also just place it on them later on. Yeah, like you do there, exactly. This is really good. Okay, keep moving, keep pushing. Maybe there's gonna be more potential for you to do something. You will see, by the way, your flight a lot of times is not only to help you out to stay alive in the angle, because it gives you shields. Remember, all your abilities, escape abilities, kind of right click, and your shift allows you to stay alive once you get focus. But you can also typically use shift for rotation whenever you have downtime, or maybe before the fight starts. Yeah, if I'm just getting out of spawn, I think it's definitely fine if you take the positioning real quick. If you can just go up somewhere and take a better off angle, to be honest.
Wait, excuse me. What rank's this person?
I'm currently Celestial 3. This was a GM1 game though.
Yeah. Do you have any question? Bold Martin?
I was just gonna ask, like, do you want to mainly like be staying in the sky, or do you want to like play like Iron Man and normally stay lower to the ground so you don't get shot out of the sky as much?
Yeah, well, I think even as Iron Man, you still want to use verticality, because this is exactly what the attention does, because we want to constantly try to divert the enemy to look at you while your core can be pushing. And later on, you can just try to also apply the pressure too, of course. We can try to stay near the cover. This is the big thing. Yeah, you're not just flying in the open. You're always trying to play near the cover. That's about it. Yeah, you're just always trying to... Even here, I would like to maybe, if possible, go up a little bit. If the sideline allows you. If not, then I go a little bit down, so I'm able to focus the backline. But it's also about the quality of the angle. For example, if I'm maybe somewhere around here, if you get a better sideline once you get closer, of course, you got to be aware of the hook there. I think this biggest and the one shot, well, it's just the Hawkeye, so like when there's a lot of burst damage amplified, I think it's gonna be difficult. But yeah, overall, if you have the vertical sideline, which allows you to shoot the backline, I think it's always decent. Really like the aggressive position there too, and just constantly keep the uptime. Peak shooting, this is great too. Just go up a little bit and should be even better. Yeah, exactly. This is perfect angle. I think this is really good. I like that. We always kind of jiggle peek around the cover, make things happen, make sure the attention is on us, and starting the ultimate from those angles is perfect. I would only like you to try to focus on the backline members a little bit more. So maybe go deeper, if possible, force things to happen, and then later on you can use the ultimate. By the way, something what we can sneak in about your ultimate, and maybe a lot of guys maybe it's just universal concept. Whenever you're using your ultimate, see if you can use your abilities before as well and get some value, because those will regenerate later on. So if I have this ultimate here, could I be able to use my shield and also fly to gain some of the shields and then later on use that ultimate, so you can be more aggressive because you have the shields, right? Something I would think about too. Right, Tracy, do you have any questions? I know it's been kind of brief 30 minutes, but any questions about what's been mentioned, or yeah, what do you think?
Not much. Everything you're saying makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, I think this is great though. Verticality, uptime, really love that. That's to be honest one of the most essential things you gotta be doing most of the time. The angles, like around here, this is great too. I think we can just quickly take a look at 2 others because those been posted and should be okay. Let me see. There is another one. Scrim. Yeah, it's actually a Scrim game. Let's take a look. Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one. Alright, let's see what we got. Okay, here we go. By the way, again, you can always watch the replays. I'm gonna post the notes, all the concepts I'm teaching. You can see the top ranked players applying those. You can also just use those at any point of time later on, like maybe watch the strategist lectures. All the things I'm talking about here are the same, to be honest. Let's take a look. So the more mobility you have, the deeper angle we can take. That's the number 1 rule with the positioning. Yeah, make sure we just trying to get on verticality somewhere. Make sure you're trying to just divert the attention. And in here, I like the drone placement, right? To place in the most aggressive member. But I want you to try to go somewhere else. Yeah, like thinking about what my angle option could be. While I'm not only able to apply the pressure, but also able to play behind the cover. So it's just constant. Treat your cover as safety. Maybe I can go around here. That's okay. Maybe I can just go around here and create an off angle. Remember, Sape exactly been doing that, yeah? And just kind of constantly trying to go left, right, create opportunities. Yeah, they're not playing main the rest of the team. They're just trying to go somewhere else. I think the shield is fine. I love the timing. It's just when your team starts doing stuff, but I want you to make things happen as well. Maybe get on your own angle, make sure the pressure is on you. You see, there's a lot of kind of linear movement as well. Whenever you're trying to position, kind of move forward and backwards, but I want your movement to be left and right, so you peek out and shoot, and then if something happens, you can always use one of your abilities. It can be right click, it can be flight, and just try to stay alive a little bit more. That's what we want most of the time. Okay, just keep applying the pressure, and yeah, there's unfortunately a Star-Lord. It's just anticipation, can maybe help, so you put the pressure on them a little bit more. Okay, see right now the attention, where it should be. Hulk, perfect. You're really good at recognizing who is aggressive, right? So make sure you're also able to be aggressive yourself, make things happen. Try to go somewhere, so for example here, where we could be, I don't know, maybe go around here, or maybe go around there. You will still have the sideline. I think this is even better option, to be honest, because it's just how we can cut off the defensive rotation. If the enemy goes here, then I can always cut them off going left here, and this is even better. It's just, because you have those burst capabilities, just constantly apply the damage output first. I see from the main...
I haven't quite... Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, I haven't quite figured out how far away I can be from the drone in order for it to still be active. Because I don't think it happens in this game, but in other games that I've played, I'll put the drone on someone, and if they'll get out too far out of my sight, and then it's gone. So I was trying to stay relatively close so that way it didn't happen. I haven't figured out the limit for that yet.
That's okay. That's okay. That's why you can do some testing. Maybe just try to play it. But to be honest, you can go really far overall. It just try to keep those things in mind. You're trying to enable the most active person and usually try to stay with them a little bit more. So you just constantly applying the damage. You constantly trying to also support them if it's needed to, in a way that you can maybe shield, right? For example, here, who you could stay with. I think Star-Lord would be great. Or actually even this, Storm, I really would like you to stay with them because a lot of the similarities with how you take angles. You can shield them if their crushing goes, and then you can also get shielded too, and this way divert the attention. And I think just try to always limit us this way where, sorry, Bold Martin, I can hear myself. Can you mute, please?
Oh, shit.
I think, okay, perfect. Okay, so if we just keep enabling the most active person, it should be good. And I wanted to mention, there was one more thing. Okay, but yeah, let's keep going. Oh, just about the limits. Whenever you test the limits, try to figure out how much you can do instead of allowing your teammates to do something. That's what I want to say. Like, see how much pressure you can do, sneak in the value. This is the best way to carry the games in competitive. I'm not just talking about from perspective of the coach, but also as a player myself. Yeah, when I've been grinding to top 10 or watch, it's just the same thing. Always trying to test your limits where you enable your best play, the best possible way. All right. I really like you just emphasizing who's the most active in the moment. I just want you to think about how you can create your own value. Yeah, you see your position. If you compare your gameplay to Twixie or even Sapi, who is even more aggressive, yeah, they're trying to create a lot of opportunities. Just divert the attention of them, so their team can take space, right? So there's gonna be big team, it seems, just constantly. All right.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think I would definitely start with that. If it's gonna be the biggest thing to fix, I would do that. And yeah, do you have any questions? Maybe.
No, not right now. I mean, everything that you've been saying makes a lot of sense. So, I will definitely be applying it moving forward. It's just like I said, in this game, I was more so not sure how far away I could be. I know Twixie just said, if I
Yeah,
don't
they
have
mentioned
line of sight, it breaks in 4 seconds. And I wasn't aware of that at the time, and so I was like, I just want to make sure that I'm pretty close, so that way it stays. Because
Mhm.
in this game, I think I ended up with like 20,000 healing or something like that. So
That's just really good.
I tried to. That was my main focus. I did focus more on healing because for this game the rules were we could only have 2 strategists and one of them had to be Ultron to, kind of, I guess, break the stigma of Ultron not being able to heal or whatever. And so those were the 2 stipulations for this game, and so I just had more emphasis on healing than the damage.
Yeah, and this is
But
okay. Yeah, I think later. Yeah. Sorry, you wanted to add something?
oh no, I was just gonna say that's why I stayed closer to the core as opposed to taking the off angles like you've been saying to do.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's okay to solve as well. I just want to say, kind of generally speaking, yeah, if we're talking about carrying the games more, I think always figuring out how much pressure you can do and later supporting your teammates as well. I think this is always great thing to think about. Oh, by the way, something we can think about is who do we stack with, kind of who can be aggressive with us. As I mentioned, maybe the Storm can take the same angle as you, maybe the Star-Lord, so place the drone around them. They're going to be more active and you kind of go in with them as well, yeah, from the sides. I think this is going to be great. If you can try this out in the scrim later, I think this is a really good. Okay, let's see. Any other questions? Yeah, seems like there are no questions in the chat. Well, we can just take a look at another replay. Let me see. There's been one more. Crutches, right? Yeah, that was yours. Okay, Crutch is not here though, so just look at their gameplay. But if they're gonna have any questions, I think they can message me later on. Let's see. Okay, what do we got? I think this is, yeah, this is their game. Let me just access this real quick. I think it's loading for me. Okay, this is. Okay, here we go. Just give me 1 second. Okay, copy share link. Okay, it should be alright. I think it should be on. Okay, let's just go back. But yeah, meanwhile, maybe there are any questions to just Ultron. Oh, give me a second. No, I think it didn't copy that correctly. I think this is. I should have been not using tracker.gg so far. I think I mostly just used the in-game feature. Let me see. Is there a way? Oh, copy replay ID. Okay, I found it. Okay, 6 minutes game. The same map as the Twixie done. Yeah, let's take a look. We can maybe look at the attack a little bit more because defense, because we already looked at the attack. What is their name? Okay, they're both Ultrons, actually. I don't know who to look at. Do you guys know what the crotch's name? Because I'm not sure. They didn't leave any notes, it seems. Do you guys know that?
Yeah, I don't think I know his name. Is he like on the go?
Yeah.
No, he's gone.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Well, we can just ping them real quick too. Maybe they can answer. If not, yeah. That's alright. Let me guess actually. So there's just okay. Maybe they did pause their gameplay before. I'm just gonna be looking, searching in the history chat. Yeah, we still have some time. Let me see. All right, crotches. Okay, maybe you can find something. Search. No, there are no results. They didn't post anything before. Okay, oh, maybe this way? Give me a second. I think I will search in the channel. Okay, one more time. Alright, search, crotches. No, I cannot find any results. That's alright, that's alright. Well, I just watch at the random one what Ultron you wanna choose, guys. And here, still, I think it's gonna be fine. All the ideas we're gonna talk about still can apply to any of your games too. Do you want to choose the blue or the red?
Well, let's try the blue because you said we saw the attack twice already,
yeah,
right?
yeah. We can also skip. That's all right. Yeah, skip to that another round. Yeah, let's choose blue. Okay, let's guess. That's them. Okay, so starting right away, just going back a little bit. I think. Yeah. Okay. Gonna be curious how they apply pressure. Yeah, I really like the damage output first, kind of getting more verticality there. We see them using cover as well, but I don't like this. I'm not sure if we need to ever just position ourselves in the open, where you just have to use the shield to support the teammate. Well, I think it's okay, but you gotta keep in mind the spherical range, right? I don't want you to be moving towards the target, but I want you to think how do you play your cover and angle while being able to do that if it's needed, if you want to shield your allies. So for example here, we still can be doing it this way, where I'm really close to cover and using the shield, right? Because there's just a lot of the aggression on that person. The 80, well, it's 8 meters spherical range. It will be enough. I think this is how far you can be. Yeah, this is going to be basically visually how it will look like. PS5 is crutches. It seems like we cannot find you. It's just maybe I copied the wrong game, but I'm not sure because I've been using your tracker so far. Oh, they're not here. They're not in the chat. Okay, let's keep watching. Okay, so cover, damage output is great so far. I like the uptime. Okay, attention is the cap. This is great too. Exactly. Like most aggressive person goes in, I can go in as well. And by the way, 4 seconds. It feels like that's a decent time, to be honest. If you place the drone and it's on 4 seconds on the player, that's much better. Well, it's really good still, and allowing you to just go on the angle too aggressively. You still can do something from there, even though you just might see, you see that exactly. Yeah, the drone's still here, and I can shoot the person, and I don't have to keep them in line of sight for too long. But now the only thing you have to do is just re-peek and just place the drone again. Just make sure your angles are not that far away from the active members, so you're not able to see them. Yeah, well, it's not even about far away. It's just being able to see. That's all. So I can technically be still here, over there on the balcony, and I will be able to see this person over there. Oh yeah, by the way, we got the right person, it seems, Crutches. Yeah, we got you. So, yeah. I can rewatch the rest of what I just mentioned before. But yeah, so far, I just mentioned that the uptime was great. I want you to put a little bit more emphasis on just how to use cover, though that would be great. Like verticality, okay, move away, great. Recognizing the tempo of the fight too. okay, might be able to take the duel, but I want you to take the duel with cover, always. So you not force it, yeah? Make sure they are pushing you, kind of, you force your own duels, and later on you can just build that advantage. You can use the shield, you can maybe also peek shoot around the cover. Remember the laser? Just did this when there's a boom sound, sort of, you just do the most amount of pressure too.
I think my issue is I feel like I get impatient. I have to play with more patience.
Right. I think that's correct. Yeah. You will see a lot of those characters with a high burst. You always want to find the right time to just kind of go and do your ultimate, or maybe go in and just apply the damage, generally speaking, too. I think you're okay at taking the duels, but it's definitely you're not as good as someone maybe like Iron Fist, for example, who's the best duelist, right? So still be careful. Overall, if you're just able to time the pressure with your tank, then you're good. Okay, let's just watch your fight here. What's gonna happen? Okay, so Mr. Fantastic and our tank's still Magneto. Overall, Mr. Fantastic can also be kind of tanky and just allow you to do more pressure. Yeah, right now we start with verticality. Okay, and I've just been searching for target. That's okay. Can finish the fight probably from here. Love the damage output, but with the targets choosing, also great. Well, overall targeting squish is good, but you also want to target anyone who is really active on the field, who is doing the most pressure right now. So see, this guy is more aggressive compared to anyone who is here. Right? Well, obviously there are also tanks, but even though I would see the squishy here, where's the Squirrel Girl? Yeah, she's around here, which is pretty aggressive too, but this is even more active right now. So I just disable them first, and then later you can disable this. This is how you carry strategies. Just disable the most active person. You make them look at you, maybe you maybe make them to move away. I think this is great. Okay, you just kind of keep shooting. Now I want you to just try to move towards the cover verticality. Once you finish the fight, do the uptime later on before. Yeah, just make sure there's a constant damage output if possible. Obviously, we have our ultimate, so it's not too much emphasis on that. I would rather think once you've done this, just a little bit of pressure, maybe trying to catch any staggers or anything, that's okay. But once the fight breaks in, the biggest thing is try to think how do you open up with the ultimate, I think. So you're just able to maybe get the squishy. And this is where you need more flank options. Yeah, like for example here, this is not where we want to be. There's no cover. There's no potential verticality to distract the enemy with, right? But let's say you're being patient. Remember the Sape example where they went on an angle they didn't even shoot. That's what I want you to try to do with this character. You have your ultimate, try to find a way to open up and do the pressure. And later on, if anyone needs healing, you can also heal them too, of course, but first off the pressure. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, perfect. Perfect. I think we're about to end here actually, because yeah, it's been productive hour. But yeah, do you guys have any final questions maybe? Now I know Crutches, you joined a little bit late, but yeah, you can watch the recording later. Any questions, guys? Patience, off angles, target priority. Yeah, cover as well. Yeah, just make sure you constantly have that piece of structure you're using at any point of time. Ideally, one angle at a time, you should be alright. Yeah, of course. Ultimate. This is one of the more important notes as well. Just go and try to be more sneaky. Whenever you have a lot of bursts in the character, you can be patient. You can be taking deeper angles too. If we're talking about the off angles, I don't think you have to position behind your team unless there's a... I'm trying to think about exceptions when. Maybe if the sideline of the map is not allowing you to, and there's just a lot of activity on the main already going on, kinda, then maybe you can start. But I would definitely suggest just try to put everything under your control first. Go on the angle, try to do the pressure by yourself. We should all do community scrim to also learn how to play Wizard against Ultron. Yeah, exactly. You exactly see that against the Ultron, there's a lot the same ideas as when you play against Storm and Torch, to be honest. And it's just making sure you're consistently aware of him, making sure there's more maybe hitscan pressure, I think. That's also great. Just make him move away a little bit. That's great. But yeah, other than that, to be honest, he's he's interesting. I think I like those kind of supports for sure.
I have one final
Oh
question.
yeah.
As far as his movement ability, so what would be, or when would be the optimal time to use it? Like, would you want to use it to set up for the angles,
Mhm.
or keep it to, leave the angle once a certain amount of pressure is applied to you?
It's all of those together. So before the fight, you set up on the angle, you get out of spawn, and you just use the shift to get on the angle. But then later, you get it back typically when the fight happens. Usually the first set abilities allows you to set up, and second set abilities allows you to move away from the angle if pressure happens, or make it easy to pressure by yourself. So let's say I'm here, I can maybe try to sneak in the kill if the enemies are, well, if they're allowing you to do so, or if there is a lot of attention on you, then you can move away. That's how I would think about it, yeah? Creating passive power with your ability, because I have the right click, because I have the shift, I can always try to position more aggressively because of that, yep? But before you can set up, of course. Just make sure you have that ability. I don't want you to be setting up right when the fight happens and then don't have it, because if you don't, then the enemy can punish you, right? I want you to be perfectly, ideally timing that setup, okay? Second set of ability, it's either I use it to move in or move out, okay? Defensive or offensive pressure. That's how we can think about it.
Okay, that
All
makes
right.
sense. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, I'm glad to help. If there are going to be any questions, let me know. And thank you everyone for being here. I will upload the recording, and yeah, we'll do more scrims later on, of course, too. All right, bye-bye everyone. Good luck.